Law Warrior Solaris. Black Hills. House Davion likes to project the public image of a paragon of virtue and defender of civilization against the likes of House Kirita and the clans. The grim reality, reflected in the gloomy conditions of the Black Hills, is that the Federated Sons is just another successor state, with all the same strengths and weaknesses. The Black Hills is a place of contrasts between the lush mansions of the haves and the grim squalor of the have-nots labouring far below. Crime, corruption and violence are as prevalent here as in the slums of Cathay, and the authorities just as helpless to prevent it. The unification of houses Davion and Steiner theoretically eliminated travel restriction between the Black Hills and Silesia, but the geographical distance between them, as well as local prejudice, has kept the Black Hills culturally separate. The Davion loyalists, who consider themselves the true leaders of the Federated Commonwealth, look down on individuals from Silesia and on those with Lyran surnames. The Hasek Davion faction, long enemies of mainstream Davion rule, also exists on Solaris, under the leadership of Drew Hasek Davion. The Hasek Davion faction is every bit as dangerous as House Davion's other enemies, though they move with more ease through Davion society. City Administration. Federated Commonwealth Police Department. Positioned conveniently on the heights above the slums, the Federated Commonwealth Police Department is often called in on sweeps of the crime-infested streets below. This structure houses near 1,000 well-equipped police officers, as well as support vehicles, and a lance of recon mechs specially modified for crowd control. Sortek Building. This ugly brick building houses the administrative officers for the Black Hills and the official officers for the Federated Commonwealth. Neighbourhoods. Residential District. The lowland portions of the Black Hills are the domain of the common citizens. The contrast between the haves and the have-nots is particularly striking here, for the slums of the Davion Quarter are scarcely distinguishable from the neighbouring slums of Cathay. Crime runs rampant, with gambling, gang violence and drugs daily destroying lives, but the authorities can do little. The lowlands remain an eyesore and an embarrassment to the Federated Commonwealth. Information. Federated Commonwealth Broadcasting. Now the largest single broadcasting entity in the Inner Sphere, spanning space from Delos to the Dark Nebula as the promos say, FCB maintains extensive facilities on Solaris. Here, Trivid tapes from daily battles are edited and sent to relay stations throughout the Federated Commonwealth. Reporters tend to focus on the games and little else. Few really skilled investigative reporters have emerged from the FCB. FC News Service. The print media is still a major force in the Federated Commonwealth, and the FC News Service produces some of the most popular sports reports in the Inner Sphere. From this building, amid blinking data terminals and uplink antennae, FCNS dispatches reports all across the Federated Commonwealth. FCNS is currently hiring news reporters, and Editor-in-Chief Catherine Thiessen is constantly searching for talented young journalists. She's a hard-nosed superior, but her training style has launched many of the top reporters of the Federated Commonwealth. Federated Commonwealth Information Centre. Eager young staff members who always seem to be smiling are happy to provide all information possible about the Federated Commonwealth, even going so far as to help expatriate members of other successor houses and apply for citizenship. Tourists may use the data terminals and colourful displays to obtain information on the Black Hill Zone or Davion space in general. Tourist services. City tours. Wheeled buses carry tourists throughout Solaris City from this large garage. Announcers have their spiel down pat. On your left is the scene of Justin Shang's fateful showdown with Philip Capet, the vast, mysterious fastness of Ishiyama Arena, and the tours are always popular. First FC Bank. This bank caters primarily to citizens of the Federated Commonwealth, but others may obtain a favourable exchange rate for D-bills. Hotels. The Sun and Sword. This is a Davionist hotel for Davionist guests, with Davionist staff, Davionist decor, Davionist food, and Davionist prices, 80 to 250 D-bills per night. The Sun and Sword features 30 floors of luxury rooms with suites named for famous members of House Davion. Hotel manager Niles Chelsea seems to have been chosen for his fanatical pro-Davion views, and is often on hand to greet guests personally, He always wears the Davion Sun Sword, not the hybrid symbol of the Federated Commonwealth, prominently as a stick or tie pin. Entertainment. Davion Arena. Surrounded by acres of parking and transit stations, the ultramodern arena occupies a vast area. The New Avalon. Second only to the Silver Swan in price, luxury and snobbery, the New Avalon is a bit less discriminating about its clientele. Indeed, its staff treats all diners with equal disdain, regardless of their political alignment. An average meal starts at 75 D-bills, and anyone can dine here as long as they can pay. Owner Rex Simmons was a major Solaris Games contender a decade prior, but gave up the fast life for the more sedate experience of a restaurant owner. He maintains a soft spot in his heart for mech warriors who can expect fast service and an even occasional discount on their bills. The Pelican. This upper-crust bar caters primarily to mech warriors and their guests. Stable masters and brokers often come here to recruit clients. On Tuesday and Thursday fight nights, the owner closes the doors to the general public, letting mech warriors watch the games on closed-circuit Trivid. Manager Lou Kinsel generally minds his own business, but draws the line at fights or concealed weapons. His chief bouncer, Trav, boasts that he's defeated a Smoke Jaguar Elemental Warrior in hand-to-hand combat in Idlewind, and he seems big enough to have actually done it. The Running Fox. This exclusive country club, named in honour of the late Hansa Davion, features a luxuriously appointed clubhouse, an 18-hole golf course, and fully equipped bar and Trivid theatre for viewing the games. Seventh Heaven. What the Pelican is to mech warriors, Seventh Heaven is to techs. Mech warriors, smugglers, merchants, and mercenaries often visit Seventh Heaven looking to hire competent assistants or daring dropship pilots. Many customers use it as a flea market, buying, selling, and trading such tech items as they enjoy of brew and traditional FC cuisine. Several prominent wizards frequent the establishment. Legendary tech Jerry Rambaldi often says he considers Seventh Heaven to be his second home. The Silver Swan. The Swan is possibly the most exclusive dining establishment in Solaris City. Not only is the management proud of this fact, they're smug too. The Swan's gracious interior includes a dining room that's nothing short of decadent, featuring crystal chandeliers, opulent table service, spotless linen, mahogany and padded leather chairs, and plush imported carpets. The food is excellent but expensive, 75 to 100 D-bills per person, and served in somewhat small portions, and the help is downright sycophantic. The Swan is a popular spot for nobles. In fact, many suggest that one must be a nobleman to even obtain reservation. Maitre d' Alphonse Wrigley has an unerring sense for detecting interlopers and is a quick person to have any imposters ejected. Tourists and hangers-on often try to sneak in for a peek at the famous clientele, but the management is wary of such antics. Points of interest. All Saints Cathedral. This Anglican shrine is a masterpiece of Gothic architecture amid the postmodern excess of the Black Hills. The stained glass windows are real, and for the most part, of the highest artistic standard, although many critics have looked askance at the portrayal of David and Goliath in which the Philistine giant appears to be modelled on the AS-70 Atlas. Father John Cooper specialises in counselling mech warriors and those involved in the games, but also teaches Sunday school and runs a small publishing house out of the cathedral's basement. Callista's Bluff. Fiona Loudon, current leader of the White Hand stable, makes her home in this multi-room mansion. A mech bay to the rear of the grounds has room for 2 battle mechs, and the practice field nearby is used for training, although mechs aren't allowed to run or fire their weapons. Picture windows at the rear of the house permit those inside to observe the great vehicles moving majestically around the grounds, and mock battles are sometimes staged for the benefit of guests. Davion Arms. These high-class condos house numerous wealthy Davionists, although the view of the slums below is often obscured by a smelly haze. Freedom Gate. An elaborate archway crowned with the Davion sunburst, Freedom Gate was built in 2892 to commemorate the Federated Sun's victory over House Kurita on Robinson. It's since come to symbolise, at least in the eyes of most Davionists, the inevitable victory of the Federated Suns, or as today the Federated Commonwealth, over its enemies, and the triumph of Davion's own brand of truth and justice. Needless to say, those loyal to other houses are scornful of this, and the monument is periodically defaced by Curitan or loud graffiti. Green Mansion. This rather garish dwelling, set on carefully manicured grounds, is the home of Drew Hassek Davion, leader of the dissident political faction that opposes the union of houses Davion and Steiner. Hassek Davion is also the owner of Black Star Stables, one of the best known on Solaris, which he uses extensively to help promote his own political agenda and to embarrass stables loyal to the Davionists. A particular rival is Starlight Stables, with the bad blood going back near 20 years. Guzman Park. The centrepiece of the Black Hills residential district, this heavily forested park is a place of winding trails, fountains, tennis courts, and several soccer fields. Unfortunately, the park is dangerous after dark, the scene of repeated turf battles between various slum gangs. Marina. Wealthy Davionists dock their yachts and houseboats in this enclosed marina, which is continuously patrolled by mercenary guards and speedboats. The nobles' floating palaces are the setting of opulent entertainment and weekend getaways, and many have closed-circuit trivid or downlink antennas that enable their occupants to view mech battles as they lazily float downstream. Mirabilis House. Count Victor Danning, former ruler of Donoval II, and his wife Amanda live here, along with an army of servants. Now retired from public service, Danning makes his home here in Solaris City, where he is known for his enthusiasm for the games, his great generosity, and his elaborate parties. These occur at least twice a month and are attended by the cream of Solaris society. Anyone who is anyone in the city receives an invitation, and should a promising mech warrior wish to speak to a major stablemaster, Mirabilis House is the place to do it. Starlight House. Starlight Stables, currently under the leadership of Trang Kai Bao, experienced a long decline after the Fourth Succession War, but has since begun to recover their reputation. Tran maintains Starlight House in fine condition, and its groves of cherry trees herald the brief Solaran spring with their blossom. The current conflict with Drew Hassek Davion's Black Star Stables has sapped much of their resources, but Tran's mech warriors seem to be gaining the upper hand. Viewpoint. This magnificent vantage point looks out over the whole of Solaris City and the rolling woodlands beyond. A concrete railing extends around this windy peak, and brass plaques point out major landmarks in the distance. Winged Victory. This Fourth Succession War memorial portrays an avenging angel armed with a sword. A list of Federated Sons' victories are etched around the statue's cylindrical base. A small grove of trees and a picnic area nearby are popular places for weekend relaxation. Transportation. Luxury transport. Daniel Drake's speeders, ground cars, and hover cars all have one thing in common: price. Like most businesses in this section of the Black Hills, LT caters to the elite of Solaris, and Drake has numerous contacts with stablemasters, nobles, and even the occasional crime boss. Drake himself stays neutral, selling to anyone with no questions asked. Though a dapper man with a dry sense of humour, he rarely mixes business with pleasure. Mech Tech. Mech sales. Both mech pilots and mercenaries patronize Roger Epstein, who sells high-quality rebuilt mechs. Only a few mechs are actually on the premises at any one time, the rest are stored throughout the city. Epstein's a quiet man, but perfectly capable of fighting tooth and nail for top dollar. No one knows much about his past, but he takes a keen interest in the exploits of mercenary units such as the Waco Rangers and the Blue Star Irregulars, and has an amazing knowledge of mech engineering and tactics. New Avalon Technologies. Although New Avalon Tech lowers their price considerably for those warriors who bear FC colours, the firm is willing to sell to anybody. Their personal sidearms are first class, and customers can buy or order almost any battlemech weapon system. Administering the Solaris NAT offices is Vice President David Tebbets, who hires and fires with ruthless efficiency. Having risen to his current position by accusing a supervisor of Curita sympathies, Tebbets will do virtually anything to maintain his position. He retains a small army of freelance investigators to look into the affairs of business rivals.